A very good morning and welcome to yet another edition of the YES101's Visual Radio. For the Newsfirst team this morning, I am Jad Abdin. We start off with a look at your headlines.
Headline.
Making headlines, high-level IMF team meets Sri Lankan government to discuss economic reforms. 58 independent groups submit deposits for parliamentary poll. Audit Office initiates investigation into visa issue. Israel strikes heart of Beirut, killing 6. Jai Vikrama gets 1-year ban for breaching anti-corruption code. And starting off in your top story this morning, a high-level delegation from the International Monetary Fund arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday to engage with the newly formed government led by President Anurakumara Dissanayake. The primary objective of the visit was to initiate discussions on the progress of the IMF program and necessary steps towards the release of the fourth tranche of $2.9 billion extended fund facility. The meeting held at the Presidential Secretariat featured cordial discussions between the IMF delegation and the economic team of the new government, while both parties reviewed the IMF program thus far and outlined the way forward for future collaboration. The IMF delegation expressed appreciation for the significant changes taking place in Sri Lanka, boosting the positive outlook on Sri Lanka under the present government. The IMF team included Dr. Preeta Bro, Senior Mission Chief, Dr. Sarwat Jahan, Resident Representative, and Manavi Abe Vikrama, an economist. Representing Sri Lanka were key members of the Economic Policy Council, including Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, Professor Anil Jayanta, Chairman of the Economic Policy Council and Senior Advisor to the President on Economic Affairs and Finance. Sunil Handunati, Professor Sita Bandara Ranatunga, Sunil Gamage, Duminda Hulangamu, Senior Advisor to the President, Dr. Nandasiri Kimbiatteheti, O.G. Dairatna Banda, and Amarasena Athukorala. In more local news, the National Election Commission said that 58 independent groups have submitted their deposits for the upcoming parliamentary elections. The highest number of independent groups have submitted deposits from the districts of Batiklu, Jaffna, Digamadulla and Colombo. Accepting of nominations for the parliamentary elections will begin tomorrow and can be submitted until 12 noon on the 11th. This year, Gampaha district will elect 19 members to parliament, an increase from the 18 members elected in 2020. Colombo district, which elected 19 members in the previous election, will elect 18 members this time. Kaluthura district will see an increase in its representation, electing 11 members, while Jaffna district will see a decrease, electing 6 members. There are no changes in the number of members elected from other districts. Accordingly, Ratnapura district will elect 11 members, Kandy district will elect 12 members, and Gaul, Anuradhapura, Badulla and Kekol districts will elect 9 members each, while Nuwara and Puttalam districts will each elect 8 members. Mathura, Digamadulla and Hambantara districts will elect 7 members, while Vanni and Munaragala district will each elect 6 members. Mathale, Polonnaru and Batiklo districts will each elect 5 members. Meanwhile, applications for postal voting for the 2024 parliamentary elections have now opened. Election Commissioner General Samansri Ratnayake stated that applications will be accepted until the 8th of this month. The 2024 parliamentary elections are scheduled to be held on the 14th November. Now, still in local news, the National Audit Office has commenced an investigation into the visa issues that were reported over the past few months. Accordingly, Auditor General WPC Vikramaratne stated that the audit report is expected to be completed by the time the new Parliament convenes. Additionally, the Auditor General mentioned that audit reports on the procurement process for issuing e-passports is also being finalized concurrently. He further noted that the audit reports will include details on the expenses incurred following the outsourcing of visa issuance to an Indian company. And up next is international news.
International news.
Now in news overseas, at least 6 people have been killed and 8 wounded in Israeli airstrikes targeting central Beirut overnight. A further 46 people were killed and 85 injured in Israeli strikes across Lebanon in the previous 24 hours. Lebanon's health ministry confirmed this. Now Israel's military said Wednesday that 8 soldiers had been killed in intense fighting with Hezbollah militants in southern Lebanon 3 days after it launched ground operations in the country. The update on the ongoing ground raids came almost a year after Israel launched its war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip in retaliation for that Iran-backed group's October 7th terrorist rampage, prompting Hamas ally Hezbollah to start firing rockets at northern Israel. Now, Iran fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel, saying the attack is in response to the recent killings of Hamas, Hezbollah and Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps leaders. Israel has promised to retaliate, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warning Tehran that it made a big mistake and will pay for it. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said the missile attack on Israel was a response to the killing of Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah and the IRGC commander Abbas Nilfarushan last week, as well as that of the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh earlier this year. The IRGC said it launched tens of missiles at Israel and that if Israel retaliated, Tehran's response would be more crushing and ruinous. Iran's state television said 80% of the missiles launched at Israel hit their targets, while the firing of missiles came after Israeli troops launched ground raids into Lebanon in the biggest escalation of regional warfare since fighting erupted in Gaza last October. At the same time, Israel has killed more than 41,000 Palestinians in Gaza since last year. Up next is your update on sports.
Sports news.
In sports, the ICC has banned Sri Lanka left-arm spinner Praveen Jayawickrama from all cricket for 1 year, of which the last 6 months are suspended after he admitted to breaching the global body's anti-corruption code. In August, the ICC charged Jayawickrama with 2 breaches of the code, and he has admitted to breaching Article 2.4.7, which relates to obstructing or delaying any investigation that may be carried out by the ACU, including concealing, tampering with, or destroying any documentation or other information that may be relevant to that investigation and or that may be evidence or may lead to the discovery of evidence of corrupt conduct under the Anti-Corruption Code. The charges, according to an ICC release, relate to an international cricket and the Lanka Premier League. And with that, we wrap up this morning edition of the YES101's Visual Radio. For the Newsfirst team, I've been Joad Abdin. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.